Now today we are going to start with sound chapter for standard 9. Now check. What exactly is a sound? Can I say sound is a form of energy? Sound is a form of energy. Now vibrating body is a source of sound. Vibrating body is a source of sound. Now what are the examples for vibrating body? You take a rubber string whose one end is held in your teeth and other end is stretched. If I plug that string, then this is the vibrating body will produce sound. You take a guitar string or any musical instrument. If you plug that string, it starts vibrating. Then the body vibrates, it will produce sound. You take a tuning fork. On that tuning fork, if you apply force, then that tuning fork starts vibrating. When the body starts vibrating, it will produce sound. Right? You take a drum. If I apply force on that drum, it will start vibrating and it will produce sound. So we can say, what is the conclusion from this? The vibrating body is a source of sound. Vibrating body is a source of sound. Now the very important term in this part is what is wave. What do you mean by wave? So can I say wave is an oscillatory or vibratory motion? It is oscillatory or vibratory motion. It's called as wave. Now what is wave motion? Wave motion is one mode of transfer of energy. What is wave motion? It is one mode of transfer of energy. Now, what are different types of waves? Basically, there are two types of waves. First is I can say wave is of two types. First is a mechanical wave. First is called as mechanical wave. And the second one is called as electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave. Now, mechanical waves are those which require medium for the propagation. That is, medium is necessary. That is called mechanical waves. Electromagnetic are those which do not require medium for the propagation. They are called as electromagnetic waves. Now, what are the examples of electromagnetic waves? So, for example, you have pura electromagnetic spectrum. That is electromagnetic spectrum. Now, what exactly electromagnetic spectrum? It starts with, this is there in 10th standard. One is gamma rays. Second will be X-ray. Right? X-rays. Third will be ultraviolet, UV rays. Fourth will be your visible light. This is visible light. Fifth will be infrared. Sixth will be microwaves. And last is a radio waves. So all these are electromagnetic waves which do not require medium for the propagation. Now today our chapter is not about this part. We are discussing about mechanical waves, right? So these mechanical waves are further divided into two parts. One is a progressive wave. One is what? Progressive. Progressive are those waves which are continuously moving from source. I'm not discussing with you. So what I am giving, my mouth is a source of sound. That wave is propagating in one direction. That is called progressive. And other is called as stationary. Stationary waves means the waves which get reflected back from the rigid support. They are called as stationary waves. This progressive wave is further divided into two. One is transverse. First wave will be transverse and second will be longitudinal. transverse wave is in the form of crest and trough, and longitudinal will be in the form of compression, rarefaction, again compression, again rarefaction, in that form. So compression, rarefaction is nothing but your sound. So we can say sound is a mechanical wave which require medium for the propagation. Water transverse, that is waves on surface of water, waves on surface of water, or waves on string will be transverse. Will be what? Transverse, right? Now just come to the next one. Let's come to the next one. Now we'll proceed now with the next, that is important part, to distinguish between your longitudinal and transverse. So I will write distinguish between, first is your transverse and second will be longitudinal wave. Right? First is transverse wave, second will be longitudinal wave. Now what exactly is a distinguish? First point of distinguish will be definition. First point is definition. What the definition says: when particles of medium vibrates perpendicular to direction of wave propagation. When particles of the medium vibrates perpendicular to the direction of wave propagation, your transverse wave is formed. Which wave is formed? Transverse. Now for longitudinal, what is the definition? When particles of medium vibrate parallel to direction of wave propagation. It is moving parallel to the direction of wave propagation. Your longitudinal wave is formed. Longitudinal wave is formed. Right? Second part, I will draw diagram. This is displacement, this is the direction of wave propagation. So this is your one transverse wave. Here this is a compression. This will be rarefaction. Again there will be compression. Again there will be rarefaction. So this is nothing but your longitudinal wave. Over here, these are the particles. They just vibrate about their mean position. They just vibrate about the mean position perpendicular like this. They are vibrating like this. They vibrate perpendicular with the direction of wave propagation. This is your direction of wave propagation. So what direction of wave propagation? That is transverse waves. Over here, particles are vibrate like this. They are moving parallel to the direction of wave propagation. They are moving what? Parallel to the direction of wave propagation. That is called longitude. Now in transverse wave, we can say alternate crest and trough is formed. This maximum elevation in upper side is called as crest. So this is called as crest. And the lower deviation, it is called as trough. One is crest, other is trough. So one crest and one trough. This is alternate crest and trough are produced. Over here, we can see third point, alternate your compression and rarefaction is formed. alternate what? Compression and rarefaction is formed. Now take the next part. What is one transverse wave? Is one crest plus one consecutive trough is your one transverse wave. Over here I can say one longitudinal wave is one compression, one consecutive rarefaction is your longitudinal wave. Right? Now, fifth point, velocity of transverse wave is given by V is equal to under root T by M, where this T is the tension in the string. T is called tension. Tension is a kind of force, and this M is called as mass per unit length. M is called as what? Mass per unit length, which is also called as linear density. Which is also called as what? Linear density. Now here, velocity of longitudinal wave is given by V is equal to under root E by rho. This E is called elasticity constant, and this rho is a density of medium. Rho is what? Density of medium. Now here, when transverse wave pass through a medium, there will be no change in density and pressure. When transverse wave pass through a medium, there will be no change in density and pressure. Here, density and pressure both changes when longitudinal wave pass through a medium. Right? Now, this transverse waves forms, we can say, on the surface of water and in solids, but longitudinal wave can pass through solid, liquid and gas. Right? Okay. Now, this is a very important point. I can say the sixth point, these waves are formed on solids, because on surface of water and in solids. They can form, these waves are produced, the waves are produced in solid, liquid and gas. Right? So your transverse wave cannot produce in air. Right? That is only in solid and on surface of water. Right? Now come to the next part. Now, this kind of whatever I am doing right now, it will not find in textbook. It is not given. But whatever we are doing is important, not only from 9, it is also important from 10 and 11, 12 point of view. Whatever I have discussed is from 11, 12 point of view also. Right? Check the next part. We know that for propagation of mechanical waves, medium is necessary. That medium requires following 3 properties. First, the medium must be elastic. Medium must be what? Elastic. Now what is elastic? What is elasticity? Elasticity is what? When you apply force to a body, it will get deformed. Deform is what? Change its shape. But as soon as you remove that force, or if the effect of force is not there, then after some time it will regain its original dimension. That property is called as elasticity. So, for propagation of wave in a medium, the medium should possess a property of elasticity. That is, you take an example of still water in a lake. So, if I throw, say, stone on the surface of water, ripples are produced on the surface. But after some time, again it becomes still. That is what is the elasticity. You take a drum. I'm beating the drum with the help of stick. So it starts vibrating. But after some time, it again becomes normal. That property is called as elasticity. called as elasticity. Second, the medium should have inertia. Now, over here, inertia means it can store energy and transfer that energy from one place to another. That property is called as what? Inertia. Over here, inertia means it can store energy and transfer that energy from one place to another. And third, very important point, the medium must be frictionless. Right? It must be frictionless. So less the friction, less amount of energy is wasted against that friction and maximum energy is delivered. So that is all these three properties, that is what three requisites for a medium. The first property is elasticity, second is about inertia, and third is about friction. Right? These points are very, very important. Right? Now we'll go for there is one experiment which proves that the medium is necessary. That is called bell jar experiment. Now, students, this question they cannot ask to describe bell jar experiment, but they can give you the diagram of that bell jar experiment, and they can ask what is the conclusion from this experiment. So, what is the conclusion? Says that the medium is necessary for propagation of mechanical waves. Right? Initially, what is there? There is a bell jar in which there is an electric bell, key is open, and there is air in that tube. Initially, vacuum pump is off, so air is there in that bell jar. You close that key, current start flowing, so that bell start ringing, and you can hear that sound. When you switch on your vacuum pump, it will remove all air. You can see that bell is ringing, but you cannot hear that sound. Right? You can see that gong is hammer is disturbing, and you cannot hear that sound. So from this we conclude that the medium is necessary for propagation. Right? Now come to the next point, that there are two graphs. That is two graphs. I will plot that two graphs. One graph is a displacement distance graph, right? And second will be displacement time graph. This is displacement time. When I say displacement distance, my y-axis will contain displacement, and on x-axis there is a distance. So this is 0. Over here, second part, this is your displacement and this is your time. Displacement time. This is origin. Right? So for displacement distance graph, I am plotting this graph. This is your graph. Right? Now this is the maximum displacement of vibrating particle on either side, is called as amplitude. A is called as what? Amplitude. That is the maximum displacement of vibrating particle on either side of mean position, is called as amplitude. Amplitude is a distance, so SI unit will be meter. Now here the distance between, this is crest, this is trough, one crest and one trough is called as wavelength. This lambda is nothing but your wavelength, is the length of one wave, that is one crest and one trough, is called as wavelength, expressed in meter. It is expressed in what? Meter. Right? This is one part. Now this part is also called as one wavelength. This distance from this point to this is also called as what? Wavelength. Right? Now we'll go with displacement time graph. The nature of graph will be like this. This is displacement time. This is again called as amplitude. This is your amplitude. This is also called as what? Amplitude. and distance, that is time from this point to this, is called as time period. Now what is t? It is called as time period. Now what is time period? It is time taken to complete one oscillation. Time taken to complete one oscillation. So that is called time period. This is expressed in second. Right? Now here we have what is speed. It is equal to distance upon time. Right? Distance upon time. So I can write your speed will be v, distance is lambda, time is t. But I can write this is but 1 upon t is equal to f. So I can write here therefore v is equal to f into lambda. F is a frequency. So when wave propagates from one medium to another, frequency remains same. Only velocity, that is wave velocity, and wavelength will change, but frequency remains same as it is a characteristic property of source. It is a characteristic property of source, right? Now check the next one. From here we have, now what we have, we will go with speed of sound. At speed of sound, so this speed of sound is given by, there are various formulas to find the speed of sound. There are various theories put forward. The very first theory was given by our great scientist called as Newton. So you have Newton's formula, right? What is Newton's formula? Now this Newton's formula, this working part is not there. Actually, if I teach this part, it is just extra for you, right? Now what Newton assumed that when wave propagates through a medium, it is in the form of compression, rarefaction, again compression, again rarefaction. So what he assumed that during compression there is a heating effect. During rarefaction, there is a cooling effect. Again heating, again cooling, again heating, again cooling. And he assumed that this compression, rarefaction is a very slow process. This is a very slow process. And there is a time gap between compression and rarefaction. There is a large time gap between compression and rarefaction. This is given by Newton. This is assumed by Newton, right? So he considered this velocity of sound as v is equal to e by rho. This e is considered as k, and that is k iso upon rho. K is this k iso is nothing but isothermal elasticity constant. K is called modulus of cubical, that is modulus of elasticity related to volume. That is called as bulk modulus. This is called as isothermal bulk modulus. It is isothermal bulk modulus. Now the value of this isothermal bulk modulus is nothing but atmospheric pressure, right, which is equal to P. Now this P is nothing but your H root G upon rho, right? Over here I will write this is your HdG. T is the density of, we can say, mercury. Now if you solve this part, this is your atmospheric pressure whose value is standard 1.013 into 10 raised to 5 upon this density of air is 1.293 kilogram per meter. If you solve this, this comes out to be around 280 meter per second at 0 degrees Celsius. But theoretical this value of sound at 0 degrees Celsius is 330 meter per second. So this is your theoretical value. This is the value you are getting from this calculation. So this value you cannot match. There is a large difference between the theoretical value and practical value. There is a difference of around 16%. There is a difference of around 16% between theoretical value and practical value. Therefore, this theory was rejected. This theory was rejected. There is a difference of 16%. In the difference is 16%. Therefore, this theory was rejected. Right? Okay. Now, the correction given to this theory is given by the scientist. I'm just writing the part over here only. That correction is given by scientist Laplace. It is called as Laplace correction. Now, Laplace correction में क्या बोला कि the assumption he has taken कि this compression and rarefaction is a very slow process is wrong. This is only concept wrong. This is a very fast process and there is no time gap between compression and rarefaction. There is no time gap between compression and rarefaction. So he considered this is a adiabatic process. It is an adiabatic process in which heat is not allowed to enter or leave the system. Therefore, it is delta Q is equal to 0, right? Now, therefore, the value, this velocity will be rearranged as K adiabatic upon rho. Abhi this K adiabatic is nothing but your gamma times P upon rho. This term is called gamma is the ratio of Cp upon Cv. That is specific heat at constant pressure to the specific heat at constant volume. The term gamma ka value is 1.41 for air. In your book it is given as 1.4. Actually it is 1.41. Now if I substitute the values of all these terms, it comes out to be 1.41 into 1.013 into 10 raised to 5 upon 1.293. This comes out to be around 331 meter per second. So your theoretical value and practical value don't match हो रहे. Therefore, this theory was accepted and Newton theory was rejected. Right? So this is the important part. See, working part, no numerical based on this, nothing is there. Only you have theoretical part. Right? Now we'll go with the next part. Now what is the next part is? Now the factors on which this velocity of sound depends and on what factor it is independent. Right? For that I will use an equation. There is an equation B. That is Laplace correction V is equal to under root this gamma, right, P upon rho. Now just convert this density. Actually, whatever part I am doing now is not there in your book. It is given in higher studies. Right? We know that density is equal to mass upon volume. So I can write your density rho is m upon v. So I will substitute this value over here. Therefore, this is velocity and this is your volume. So I am writing velocity as small v is equal to, this is gamma, this p upon this is m upon v. So this v will go up to this is gamma, this is pv upon m. Right? This is pv upon m. Now we know that according to ideal gas equation, what ideal gas equation says, this PV is equal to nRT. P is pressure, V is volume, N is number of mole, this is number of mole, R is universal gas constant, and T is absolute temperature. So for n equal to 1, your PV is equal to RT. PV is equal to what? RT. So I am just substituting this value over here. So we can write here, therefore velocity is equal to gamma RT upon M. So from this equation is important. From this we conclude that if velocity is directly proportional to square root of t. Velocity is directly proportional to what? Square root of t. And there is no pressure term over here. Gamma is constant, your R is universal gas constant, M is mass, or we can say molecular weight, because you have taken N is 1, so N is mass upon molecular weight, so mass and molecular weight will be same. So this everything, this gamma, R, M, all are constant. So V is directly proportional to root of t. So we can say from this that velocity is independent of pressure. It is independent of pressure. In your book, what is given? What they are saying, this term P by rho is constant, but actually this term, it is not directly constant. This is in this way, and since this part is not covered, therefore they are directly saying it is P upon rho is constant. So velocity is independent of pressure, and velocity is directly proportional to root of T. So if temperature increases, velocity will also increase. Now there is a relation. What is that relation? Says Vt is equal to V0 plus 0.61 times T. Vt is equal to V0 plus 0.61 times T. So what is Vt? It is the velocity at temperature T degrees Celsius. This is the velocity at 0 degrees Celsius, which is 330, and T is the temperature. T is what? Temperature. Now what do you mean by this statement? The meaning of this statement is that if temperature rises by 1 degree Celsius, if the temperature rises by what? 1 degree Celsius, then velocity will increase by 0.61 meter per second. 0.61 meter per second. Now check the factors on which velocity of sound depends. It depends upon one more factor on which it depends is the density. So velocity is inversely proportional to square root of density. If the density increases, velocity will decrease, and so on. Right? So velocity also depends upon the moisture. Right? More the moisture, more will be the velocity. More will be the velocity. Right? This is the factor. Now next part, that is effect of humidity. If the humidity increases, that is moisture is increased, what will happen? The velocity will also increase. In dry air, velocity will be less. Dry air, velocity will be less. Now what is the next point? That is effect of direction of wind. So if the wave is propagating in the direction of wind, then velocity will increase, and if the wave is moving, propagating opposite to the direction of wind, the velocity will decrease. Right? These are the factors. Now the factors on which velocity of sound is independent. The one factor we already discussed, that is what we call as is the pressure. It is independent of pressure. So I can say velocity is also independent of amplitude of wave. First, and second, it is the frequency or wavelength of wave. Right? These are the factors on which it is independent. This is again frequently asked question. Now, next we will go with what is the difference between sound waves and light waves. So first only we will discuss the sound is a mechanical wave which requires medium for the propagation, but light is an electromagnetic wave which do not require medium for the propagation. So sound cannot pass through vacuum, it requires medium, but light can pass through vacuum. We cannot discuss on the surface of moon, because on surface of moon there is no air, there is no medium, therefore you cannot discuss. That is a given reason, application based question. But light we can transmit in terms of electromagnetic waves. Okay, next, as the wave go from, say I'm longitudinal wave. So as the wave, sound waves go from air to any other medium, say denser medium, say from air to water, water to glass, right, or any other medium, denser medium, velocity will increase. But in case of light, as you go from optically rarer medium to optical, what is optics? Optics is light. It's a branch of physics which deals with light. So when I say optically rarer, means what is air is a optically rarer. And if you consider optically denser, like water, so when you go from air to water, in case of light, speed will decrease. Speed will decrease. But in case of sound, speed will increase. Right? If the ray is going from, say light is going from air to glass, speed will still decrease. But in case of say metal, speed will increase. It is maximum in steel, right? Speed of sound is maximum. Granite is maximum, but in steel it is 5100. So you can have, so when the wave is going from air to say rarer to denser medium, speed will increase, but in case of light, speed will decrease. Right? Next part. Light waves are always transverse. Light is a transverse electromagnetic waves, but sound is a longitudinal in air, and it is transverse on the surface of water. It is transverse on the surface of water. Right? Now there are some examples given, key consequences of large difference of speed of sound, that of light. That is a thunder and lightning, because there is a distance between the both are arise simultaneously, but when it reaches to us, first it is a light, that is lightning, and after that you can hear thunder, right, because of difference in speed. Then you have another, that is when a starter in an athlete event fires a gun, spectator sitting at a distance hears sound of fire a little later while its smoke instantaneously. The reason is that difference between speed of sound and speed of light. Same thing if a person is watching a live, person is watching a say match in stadium, he find that the batsman hit a ball at some instant, but he can hear that sound after some time. So all of these things are the difference due to difference in speed of sound and speed of light. Right? Friend, that's it for this video. Please do subscribe my channel so that you will get all the new videos and notification for this. Thank you.